Hey everyone, Big Daddy B-Man here. It's been a while since one of my bigger, more fleshed out videos, but I believe I've truly cooked up something special this time. And this time, it's actually topical to my channel's main focus, my singing monsters. Today, we'll be looking at a potential fourth Zapping Island, while also taking a deeper look at how the zapping mechanics could be overhauled and give new players a better understanding of how they work. So sit back and take a look at what I will be calling Milestone Island. So, let's start by looking at what Milestone Island is designed to be. Firstly, as the name implies, it's meant to be an island where the monsters are collected in relation to certain milestones completed by the player. These monsters are an all-new class who require zapping eggs to be awoken. However, unlike all the other Zapping Islands, these monsters don't have time limits, making them similar to K'nee on Amber Island. You may be wondering why this is the case. The idea behind this island, as opposed to being more difficult like Amber and Celestial, is that it's actually an introduction and tutorial for the zapping mechanic. In this way, new players can get accustomed to zapping in a simpler manner with no time restrictions, before the relatively tougher challenge that is Woodland Island. So in short, this island is much more for new players than the seasoned veterans. However, with MSM having a rather recent influx of newcomers, I believe that having a dedicated island to guide players through this mechanic is imperative. The other thing that this island guides players through is the general sense of progression of the game. Monsters are unlocked by completing certain objectives, usually stemming from unlocking all monsters in a class. My idea is this: have one or two monsters that require all eggs of a certain class, or a certain selection that centers around a recently accomplished goal. Then, once their inventories have been completed, they can awaken or incubate or whatever, I haven't decided yet. Once powered up, they create currency based on that point in the game. For example, natural-based monsters would produce coins, fire-based ones would produce relics, and ethereal and magical ones would produce shards. Here, let me show you what I mean by introducing the first monster open to the player, TutorScooter. TutorScooter is designed to be the tutorial monster for zapping. TutorScooter is unlocked the moment you hatch your first T-Rocks. The idea is that, once you've hatched T-Rocks, you've gotten the basics of breeding, and TutorScooter is meant to test what you've learned while also teaching zapping. Once T-Rocks is hatched, the game enters a tutorial where it first asks you to head to the newly unlocked Milestone Island, where an inactive TutorScooter is. Once you check the inventory, which will have one of each natural single unlocked up until that point, the game sends you back to Plant Island to breed together T-Rocks and Noggin. If for whatever reason you've sold your Noggin, the game could just give you another one for free. It may seem a little stupid, but I can't really think of a better way to resolve this issue. Anyways, you breed your Noggin, zap with the TutorScooter. This is actually a very important moment, as it teaches the player that combining monsters who share the same element usually results in failing and getting one of the parent monsters. And obviously, it usually results in getting the monster with less elements? Wait, what? I checked this twice, and I bred a T-Rocks both times. That's really strange. So it looks like a quad elemental and a single almost always results in a single. I mean, that's what I always use when trying to breed singles for Rublins. So why is this even the case? I can understand why breeding a double and a triple can result in a triple. I mean, those are used for epics all the time. But what breeding combination uses a triple and a single with the same element? Oh. So yeah, it turns out that the reason for this might be tied to Clavavera on Bone Island. As far as I can tell, this is the only instance where breeding a triple and a single who has the same element as the triple is required to breed a special monster. So, listen, just for this exercise, let's say that, hypothetically, in this update, all natural monsters are changed so it always results in the single. That way, Clavavera can still have their special little case on Bone Island, while T-Rocks and Noggin will always give us a Noggin. Okay, now that tangent is out of the way, once the Noggin egg is zapped to TutorScooter, the game lets you resume control again, and, putting two and two together, you breed Toejammer and Mammoth in the same fashion. So, let's recap. TutorScooter is meant to serve as a tutorial for zapping, and to reinforce the basics of breeding the player just picked up on. After all is said and done, the inventory is filled and the player unlocks TutorScooter. Now I'm going to move on to the design behind TutorScooter as its own individual monster. It was not a monster that I put much thought into. All I really thought was, okay, it should be a tutorial, a tutor, What rhymes with tutor? Scooter. Alright, we'll go with TutorScooter. And that was pretty much it. The entire design was something that took a little more thinking because I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to play. I knew I wanted to have one big cartoon glove to squeeze its eye like a bike horn, but eventually I did settle on a body plan that I liked. Going forward, I plan on most of the monsters of Milestone Island being themed close to the milestone that they represent, but I like how TutorScooter has a more out there design. I think it serves as a nice segue into Wobbling Island, which would obviously be the next step in the Zapping Island saga. Now would also be a good time to mention that I'm not planning on making a song for this island. You never know, I might someday, but as of now, this is an exercise in testing out how a new Zapping Island could work, not an exercise in music. Plus, I'm already working on the song for the next Laborer Island, but hey, if anyone who watches this video wants to take a shot at composing something, be my guest. Like most of my monsters, I'll leave a fan kit in the description so you can use them. This monster would make cartoonish squeaking sounds using its horn. With all that being said, I think it's time to move on to the second milestone monster I made for this video. Now, I'm a little split on when you would be able to unlock this monster. However, I think that completing a collection of all the common naturals on Plant, Cold, and Air Island should be the method to unlock it. As such, it would need all of these monsters' eggs. So that's all 5 singles, all 10 doubles, 9 triples, and 3 quads. Now, 27 eggs may sound like a lot at this point of the game, but I want to remind you that there is no time limit. Players are encouraged to fill milestone monsters as leisurely as possible. Once this monster is awakened, it would have the coin production at the same level of a natural quad, if not a little higher. Oh, that was something I forgot to mention for TutorScooter. It would have the same coin production similar to a natural triple. Now, let's take a look at this monster. Like I said earlier, I want to base most of the milestone monsters' designs on the milestones that they represent. Since K'nee-Knocker here is the representative of Air Island's completion, I tried to give it a very brown color scheme, almost like it's constantly dusty. Despite it being related to the naturals, I actually took inspiration from concept art of 2 magical monsters, Capricorn and Ruba. When I first drew my own concept, I took much more from these original designs. You can see I took the mouth straight from Capricorn, which is something I omitted from the final design. However, I did add these weird things that the Ruba concept is holding, or at least something inspired by them. I knew right from the beginning that the K'nee-Knocker was going to be a percussionist who used its knees for its sound, just like the original concept art, but I wasn't quite sure how to go about it. So that's why I used the strange thing that the Ruba concept is holding. Basically, K'nee-Knocker uses these things that it's holding to hit its knees. It provides a simple percussion part, nothing too crazy, just so that the island doesn't start out too empty. This monster was pretty tough to create, as even the concept was a little bit iffy to me, but I'm really proud of how it came out. It took a lot of trial and error to get the proportions right on the limbs and stuff, but it was definitely worth it. And now that I've shown you all 2 of my monsters and made my pitch for the island, it's time for the closing remarks. Firstly, I pose a question to you all. What should be counted as a milestone? Obviously, I think that completing a class should count, as that's how most of the milestone monsters would be unlocked, but there's only 12 classes in the game, not including rares and epics, and not all of them can be zapped. So I want to hear what you have to say. Do you have any unique ideas on what should count as a milestone and what it could unlock? Let me know in the comments below. I want to try to hit at least 15 monsters on this island, as it usually is the default amount of monsters for most songs in MSN, so I need some ideas. And with that, I thank you all for watching all the way until the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed looking at this hypothetical new island, and I hope you'll be looking forward to more videos on the subject, because as you can probably tell, I want to make it a series. So consider liking and subscribing to let me know if you're interested. With that, I'll stop talking your ear off. Peace out.